Miami Association of Realtors. Thank you, Miami YPN. For those of you guys that don't know me, my name is Jeff Corriolan, team leader of the JC Sales team at the Kais Company. We happen to be stationed out of the Coral Springs office, and I'm excited to be here today to just talk to you guys about basically just winning the listings over in this crazy, crazy market that we're in today. It's tough. It's tough. It's challenging. It's challenging for yourself. It's challenging for the buyers that are out there. It's challenging for the sellers that are out there as well. But so what I hope that we do today is we dive into how can we truly win the listing over, how can we service them, and how can we generate more business from that. So whenever Kev's ready, I'm definitely ready. Kev, I think I do need to present the slideshow if you want to make me a co-host.
Oh, I do want to make you a co-host. Let me send out this email real quick. Talk about how long you've been in the industry and everything else real quick. Just other brief fun facts as I send out this email, because I just want as many people in the room for Giovanni as possible. You know what I mean?
Love it. Love it. So I've been in the industry for over 10 years. I've been with the Kais Company the whole entire time. Not necessarily the whole entire time. I was actually with another company before, which actually had me understand the importance of calling, the importance of door knocking, the importance of basically owning the market. Guys, I was with a company before that did not provide the training that I needed, did not provide the guidance that I needed, but what they gave me, the do how. And that's basically, when I say the do how, I mean basically the courage to say, hey, this is gonna work. I'm gonna make it work. I can tell you that some of you guys are through a coach right now, you're through a mentor right now, you're probably through a filter right now, probably have gone through that experience. But guess what? The gentleman that I was working with at that time, I thank him so much for as far as he brought me, but I recall going door knocking with him just one time. And we were in the car for about 30 minutes and he's like, I'm tired, I'm exhausted, I wanna go home. And that was the end of it. And I had to say, hey, I have no other alternatives. I need to make this work. So I ended up taking the bull by its horns and just basically just doing it. I'm glad to lead the JC Sales team, which happens to be one of the top teams out of the Kais Company. And every day we're looking to just get better and better and better. I don't think this opportunity today would just be an opportunity of me just lecturing, because I don't believe in that. I believe an opportunity for us to basically just expand our minds. I am definitely here with my notes as always, because I believe in learning. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to get some questions from you guys, try to get some answers. And what we do is basically use this opportunity to truly just tweak a little bit of what we're doing. Some of you guys may be doing a lot that's going to be presented today. And some of you guys may be like, man, this just isn't working out. What do I do? And then there's some people that say, hey, I own listings, but how do I grow my listings inventory? And how do I just get better at it? So no professional, no pro myself. Every day is a learning day for me, but I'm just excited to share with you guys what Miami Association has put together, what Miami YPN has put together, plus a little bit of what I put together as well to ensure that we own the market and we own the industry.
Thank you so much, Jeff. All right, Giovanni, I think 99 participants is good enough. I'm sending out one last final email, but you, sir, are good to go. The floor is yours. And thank you so much for sponsoring the sellers representation class. Thank you so much.
Definitely, Kevin. Good morning, everyone. Before I jump in, I just want to acknowledge you for being here, leveling up your business. I know Jeff has the goods today. I'm excited to for you guys to be here. First time I see a ton of familiar faces. First time I see Neil without a bow tie. That's crazy. But let's jump in. If you've never met before, my name is Giovanni Pastrana. I'm with Cutco Closing Gifts and the Cutting Edge Gift team. And I'm really just here today to talk to you about how to make sure that your clients stay your clients forever, right? How do we do that? Well, we help you leverage your closing gifts to stay top of mind. So before we jump in, and I know some people are already posted in the chat box about Cutco, but I want you guys to share what are some of the most popular or common closing gifts we see in the industry. And I'll open the chat box back up and get some engagement here. See what do we usually see out there in the industry given at the closing table? Don't be shy now. Okay, I see Neil coming in with wine, bottles, iPads, Elvis. Okay, that's we should chat, Elvis. Mattress, gift baskets. Awesome. I love that. And I'm not here to say clients don't like those gifts, right? I mean, at the end of the day, we love gifts. They're free, right? What we found though, and you guys tell me, what are some of the most common challenges with those gifts? Where are most gifts? Few weeks, months, years? Neil's got it, right? Eaten, drinking, they're consumed. 90% of gifts, your client, they get it, they like it, but then boom, it's consumed. Eaten, drinking, it's spent. So we just found the solution, right? We just help you get a gift for your client that they're going to love and that they're going to use every single day for the rest of your career while helping you stay top of mind. How do we do that? Well, we were already talking about it a little bit earlier, but we take the world famous Cutco products, and I know there's some Cutco owners in the house. I saw Sonia, I saw my friend Pat, some others in the house. If you own Cutco, just do me a favor, tell me how long you've had your Cutco, a little bit about your Cutco experience, and share in the chat box there. If you aren't familiar with Cutco, no worries. All it is like the Rolls Royce, the Rolex of kitchen knives, right? It's 100% made in America, guaranteed forever, super high quality. And all we do with the product that some people have had, let's see, Neil, 13 years, Darnell, a year. Cutco is the best, Mark. I love it. 8 years, Sonia says. We just take the product that a ton of people love and use every day, and we just engrave it and brand it with your business, right? Your logo, your name, your phone number on the gift itself. It just does a couple things for your business, keeps you top of mind, helps spark conversation with friends and family, right? When they have guests over. And because it's engraved, it's 100% tax deductible. So a little loophole you can thank me for. So I want to do something really special for you guys before I kick this back off to Jeff. If you have your cell phones nearby, I'll give you a quick second to grab it. Anyone want some free Cutco? Yes or yes? You know, the only thing better than Cutco is some free Cutco. Do me a favor, take out your cell phones here. I'm gonna give you my cell phone number, and I'll just have you text me with your name and your email. And what we're gonna do is I'm gonna buy everyone here on the call $100 in free Cutco with your order. The first 7 texts that come in, because we got a big group today, the first 7 texts, I'm gonna upgrade you to $150 in free Cutco for taking some action. So here's my phone number. You ready? 954-303-9809, 954-303-9809. Just text me with your name and your email. If you have closings coming up, interest in gifts, you have a question, and I'm going to buy you $100 in free Cutco with your order. Now, I got a question here from Neil that I'll take quickly. If you have other questions, text me. This is always a good question. If I have international clients, maybe the stigma, maybe I don't know if I can do knives. What can I give instead? Great question, Neil. So a couple things. One, the gift of good luck is a shiny penny and a shiny coin. So we do have some systems in place to be able to help provide you with a shiny penny or a shiny coin to help reverse and give the gift of good luck to all your clients. And so there's some special programs for that. If you have interest, we will include those with you. We also have some other products like cutting boards that you might see down here, over here, or some tumblers, right, for wine or drinkware. And so we've got some other products on hand that we can help you work with as well. We're just most known for the knives for all the reasons we mentioned. So I appreciate you, Neil. I appreciate you guys texting in here. Hope you guys have an awesome knife rest of the class. And we'll be in touch. Holler. I think I'll kick it back to Kevin so he can introduce you, Jeff, if necessary. If not, it's all yours, brother.
Hey, that's a pretty great giveaway. Do you have any other specials or anything else going on with Cutco that are coming up in the year? We got a bunch of participants that hopped on like while you were giving your pitch. So do you got anything for them to look forward to maybe in the next couple of months?
Yeah, I mean, right now we got Christmas in July, always a good time, right? So if you've got, what we're going to do is we help you really put a really easy system in place where we'll stock you with the supply as you need. And then Cutco bills you out over 6 months, no interest, no credit. So it's super easy and light on cash flow for you. And whenever the closing comes, you just grab and go. You don't have to be running around town anymore. So really simple and easy system. Jeff's a busy man. That's all we've got in terms of specials running right now. We got a nice Christmas in July. So if you guys have closings, you want to give us a shot, reach out.
Light on cash flow. Everybody likes to hear that. Hey, Giovanni, man, thank you so much for sponsoring this class. Feel free to hang around if you'd like, chime in. Jeff, hopefully you're not on that phone call, brother. You ready to rock?
Yes. Thank you so much. I had to literally put my phone on airplane mode. For some reason, the do not disturb was not working out. So I'm sorry about that, Giovanni. I'm going to go ahead and pin myself to the screen just in case we do get any interruptions. We won't lose the presentation slideshow. But before we get started, I want to talk about mindset. I think mindset truly helps you out, and especially in this market the way it is today. We get discouraged by not getting our offers accepted. We get discouraged by the buyer maybe going to someone else. We get discouraged about going to the listing appointment and not being able to get the listing. So I want to definitely talk about mindset. So let's get some activities started before we get into the presentation, where I'll outline to you guys what am I going to be discussing for today. So I think mindset definitely starts with waking up early. Hello, Claudiane. I think mindset definitely starts off with waking up early. So if you can drop a 1 for me, if you're a 4 o'clock in the morning type of person, if you're waking up at 4 in the morning, please drop a 1 in the room. What's up, Gabe? All right. If you're a 5 p.m. morning, drop a 2 inside the room, please. If you're a 5 o'clock morning person, drop a 2. Okay. And last but not least, I think if you're a 6 o'clock type of person, drop a 3 inside the room for us. All right. So we see we got some 2s still coming in. Fantastic. Beautiful. So I believe running a business definitely starts with waking up early, ensuring that your mindset is there, ensuring that you're doing some type of activities to definitely control your day. So it's definitely starting off with scheduling. It's starting off with mindset. It's starting off with some of you guys go to the gym early in the morning. Nicholas, I see you in the room. He's definitely always in the gym at 5 a.m. So it's definitely starting off with that. So I want to start off with saying, if you're not in your office or if you're not at work at an early time, you may want to revisit that. Hey, how do I start my day? Maybe impacts how does my production go? So you definitely want to keep that top of mind. How do I start my day? Definitely impacts how does my day go? So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to share my screen because they have prepared a presentation for me. They don't want me to go off. So I may go a little bit off though. I want to make this as interactive as possible. I don't want to seem as an instructor, as I stated earlier today. So seller's representation from the call to the commission, ensuring that we're not just waiting on the phone to ring because we're not those type of agents. We're agents that are out there generating leads, getting prospects every single day. Let me move this out the way. Does everyone see the screen okay?
Yes.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. So understanding a few principles, first and foremost, I always say it's not about the commission. Real estate is about maintaining long-term relationships. So many times we are in a transaction. I was speaking to a young lady on Monday and she's like, I'm on the phone with an agent right now, begging them to accept my offer. And I was like, that's the wrong word that you're using and you're starting off wrong right then and there. You're a service provider, not a salesperson, moving in a most stressful time of people's lives, understanding that very quickly, especially if a seller is selling and buying. Remember that they're going through a lot. Understanding personalities is extremely important. Understanding your strengths and your weaknesses and how to help and hurt your relationships with your client. Integrity is very important, especially in this industry today. We have to remember that while we do have the customers, I think every single professional in this room is also a client of mine as well, because we need each other, guys. We need each other. There's about 146 people in here. You guys are my customers, my clients every single day. So I thank you all. I thank you guys for working with me. I thank you for working with my team. And I just thank you guys for being professionals at the end of the day and also being committed. Okay. So what will you find out of this class? Before I go to the next slide, if you guys can either unmute yourselves or you can type in the chat room, what is it that you're looking to obtain out of this session today? Anyone? If you can unmute yourself, or you can type in new techniques.
Creative ideas to list new homes.
Creative ideas, okay. Getting the appointments.
I'm looking for new ways to reach the people that are not currently in my environment, how to get to them as far as listing their homes in all price points.
Okay. I'm glad you said that. We actually had a conversation just a few days ago. Me and some people had a conversation about that. What happens is sometimes your circle impacts like who your clients end up being. More ideas on marketing, extra tips on improving my listing presentation. Beautiful. Looking to become a listing agent. So just from scratch, techniques, sharpening my tools always. Even myself, I look to sharpen every single day. Getting an app and getting the appointment and obtaining the listing. I got it. After farming, what do I do next? Follow up. Follow up is definitely big. How to virtually impact your listing presentations. I we did three, Neil. We did three of those on Zoom last week, and we got all three of them signed. In today's session, we'll be discussing evaluating the competition, defining your brand, creating your brand, online presence, delivering your brand. Farming is definitely important. Generating leads through farming, the listing presentation, which a lot of you guys have asked for, marketing the home. So in today's market, you may not need to do a lot of marketing, but what you have to understand is that you're not doing a lot of marketing for that seller. Think about this. You're doing the marketing for the people that are watching the listing online that's going to call you to list. And also the people that are coming into those open houses that you guys are holding every single Saturday and Sunday. People are sometimes in the area thinking about selling. So they're coming in to see what techniques are you using? What are you doing? How does this person stand out versus the next person in efforts to sell my home? Showings and why feedback is extremely important. Offers, negotiations, getting the contract. And then I need to move this. Give me 1 second. There we go. Got rid of that. I got the contract. What do I do next? All right. So understanding your niche. So many times people say, hey, there's so much that's going on. What do I do? We sometimes get inundated by so many training sessions that are happening, being here, being in the next training session, so many classes that are happening, especially through the pandemic. There were so many people offering things through Zoom because they want to stay relevant. But what ended up happening was you had information overload. It was just so much going on. You're like, hey, I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to do this. Which one do I do? So you got to stop and you got to freeze and you got to say, hey, what am I great at? For myself, I'm actually in a coaching program and I found myself every single morning actually listening to another coach that's out there versus the coaching program that I was in. And I was just taking this list down of all these things that I wanted to do. And I sent it to my coach as I am in the coaching program. I sent it to my coach and I said, listen, I want to knock out these things in the next 30 days. Can you hold me accountable? And she says, absolutely, I can. We get our first call and she's like, how are you doing with the stuff? And I said, it's awful. She says, Jeff, you need to stop. You need to focus on this program that's here because it truly works, you know? So understanding your niche, and your niche is probably sometimes the property type, which is, am I the suburbs? Am I condos? Am I luxury? Am I land? Am I commercial? What am I? And understanding the client that you're dealing with. If you guys have not looked at the DISC profile, you definitely want to take some time, Google that, watch the YouTube videos on that. This will definitely let you know on how to truly control the environment that you're in by understanding the client that you are working with. Market share, which basically means how much properties do I have in this particular area that I happen to be farming. Understanding what's happening in the area, understanding people want to work with professionals. So if you happen to be working in certain areas that happen to be historic areas, understanding what's happening there, understanding the homes, understanding why people move there. I think that's extremely important, especially in today's society. There's people that are calling you from California, they're calling you from New York, and they want to know where do they go because they don't know the area, but they want to get out of where they're at. So you sometimes have to say, hey, I need to study this area if I want to become the master at it. And that's truly what farming's about. How do I stand out versus my competition? And take notes from other producers that are in the industry that I can definitely use for my marketplace as well. So defining your brand. Sometimes we think defining our brand is sometimes just being on social media, but it's more than just that. It's having a target audience. So for example, am I the one that are more into modern contemporary homes? So if that's the type of lifestyle that I want to sell, then maybe what I need to do is I need to educate myself on what's happening there. I don't know if Megan's in the room from Broward, but Megan's really great at the Fort Lauderdale market. Like if you go to this girl's Instagram, her website or her page, she talks about what's happening in Fort Lauderdale. She talks about the homes that are coming up. So she's well at understanding her market area. Am I farming to foreigners, people that are coming from other countries, people that are coming from other states that don't really know the area? Is that my target audience? Or is my target audience the first-time home buyers? As we understand, sometimes with first-time home buyers, they need assistance with down payment. They need closing costs. They need credit repair. So is my target audience, as far as obtaining listings, going to be targeted to these type of buyers? So as of today, we probably know that our average price point is maybe what, 350, 375, 400 now. So identifying where do I fall? What feelings do I want the consumer to have as far as knowing me and my brand? You know, am I the one that visits areas as far as the restaurants that are there? Am I the ones that attends the schools that happen to be in this area that I'm farming? Am I truly the expert of the area? And then also using some other stuff, like for example, I added Remind on this slide because I didn't see it on there earlier today, but truly using Remind and saying, hey, where are the people coming from? How long are they staying in their homes? And also using IMAPs, the associations, getting involved in the associations. And then value proposition. Why are people selling their homes that happen to live in this area? Or why are people moving into this area? So one thing that you have to keep in mind is that sometimes we say, hey, I want to work a particular area. And then we say, hey, there's only 12 homes here. There's only 150 homes here. There's only 500 homes here. But we don't understand how many homes are being sold per day, how many homes are being sold per month, how many homes are being sold in a year. So understanding that as well definitely helps your brand out. So if you don't have a brand, you may want to take some notes on that. What does my look like? What does my image look like? So sometimes your brand is sometimes the colors that you use. Sometimes it's the name that you have. Sometimes it's a slogan. And then also with the slogan, there's a mission statement. So I think as a professional, as a company, if you think about just anyone, you think about Nike, everyone knows Nike. Okay, if you think about Publix, if you think about Papa John's or any other restaurants that are out there, they have a color, they have a brand, they have a logo, they have a slogan, and they have a mission statement. Okay. So I am a business owner. I am a CEO of my business. So do I have these things? Okay. Because what happens is with internet today, I've gotten people that have called me and says, hey, I saw you on Google, come list my home. I remember even getting my dog. My dog Chase is 5 years old right now, but guess what? I ended up buying him from a lady that had him actually in this area where I reside today, Sunrise. And she says, it's okay. You can come over to my home. I Googled you, you know? So think about that. If you don't have an internet presence, if you don't have a business page, if you're not on Google, if you're not on Yelp, you may want to think about that as well as far as marketing. And that actually taps into the next item, marketing channels. Okay. So social media, how does my social media page look like? Okay. As we say, we never want to inundate our page with content of real estate. We want to show people that we have a lifestyle, but then again, we want to also show people that we're in the industry. Some of you guys don't have anything real estate related on your page, just maybe a closing here or closing there, but you want to make sure that you're mixed using your social media platform so that people understand that, hey, I want to work with an active agent. Okay. Your email, does your email have your branding on there? Is there a logo on there? Your cell phone, as far as answering the phone, but not only answering the phone, but as far as also your message center. For example, do you have a custom voicemail, or do you have someone that answers the phone for you? Keep this all in mind when you talk about brand, because this is what I stand behind. Okay. I can give you guys a quick little joke though. Let's take branding, for example. And anyone that was on the plane with me definitely knows. Imagine being on an American Airlines flight versus being on a Spirit flight. Just think about that. Understand the branding. Okay. So websites, do I have a website? Maybe I'm using my company's websites. Maybe I go out and get a custom website, but does my website look exactly like my Yelp page? Does it look like my Google page? Does it look like my Instagram page? Okay. So am I paying for leads on there? Sometimes some of us are paying for Instagram leads. We're paying for Google leads, Google ads. We're paying for Facebook leads. Are we paying for leads, or are we organically getting leads? Do we have some type of information that we're blogging onto YouTube? YouTube is a blog site. Think about this. It's an information platform. So some people are on different levels as far as they give their information, but YouTube truly is a blogging platform to provide information. We all know that when we're looking for resources, we're looking for something, we automatically go to YouTube. So just say, for example, if I was to go to YouTube, but I'm using like not titles that everyone else is using, but I'm using titles that are really catching people's attention. For example, we just spoke about working a particular area. So if my particular area happens to be contemporary homes, on my YouTube page, am I talking about contemporary home styles, modern home styles, how to work with maybe a design company to come in? Am I working with a certain paint color? As we know, certain paint colors and contrast has changed throughout the times. And then graphic designs are extremely important. A lot of us on here probably use Canva. Some of us probably use other platforms, or some of us use graphic designers. And then some of us probably just throw the content on there. You got to understand that your content is also a signature of who you are. So the color schemes that you use, the information that you throw on there, you want to make sure that your stuff is professional. If you're throwing up content that's on there and it doesn't look up to par, they're thinking now as they're browsing your page, does this person truly know how to market? How are they going to market my home if their Instagram or their Facebook or their LinkedIn or whatever looks like this? Okay. And then also, am I getting involved in the local news articles that happen to be in my area? The manager of Coral Springs, who happens to be with us, is really big on assisting schools as far as branding there, but also being of assistance to them and attending their events and stuff like that. Do I have some type of presence there? Or sometimes even joining organizations as well that are in the community or the city that I'm working in that can provide me access to elevate my business. Some good information so far. Got you guys' minds rolling? Delivering your brand. So am I going to be going back to what we said? Am I going to be the ones that is getting information that I'm paying for? Or am I going to sit and wait for the business to come to me? So direct mail. Are you doing at this time, are you doing flyers? Are you doing brochures? Are you doing postcards? Are you doing door hangers? What is it that you're doing? So I think sometimes what happens is when we first get into the industry, we say, hey, I don't really have a budget, or I really don't have a lot of money. What do I do? And I think that's where we kind of sometimes mess up at. We got to say, hey, I got to have some type of budget to put into my business where I'm able to get some type of return on it. And sometimes it's just so minimal. Sometimes it's advertising on it on Facebook through an ad or through a boost that is so small that I know that every single time I close a deal, I'm going to start off here, but guess what? I'm going to target the area that I want to work in. Okay. Yeah. So if they're not getting my postcards because they're kind of costly to me, they're getting me through the Instagram ads or the Facebook ads or the Google ads. Okay. So identifying some type of budget, whenever you get a paycheck, say, hey, I'm going to put 20% here. I'm going to put 10% there. I'm going to put 5% here. Okay. Maybe I'm going to get with a designer that's going to create some custom door hangers for me if my company doesn't provide them to me, and say, hey, I want to break into this area once again. So what I'm going to do, they're now seeing me through social media ads. They're now seeing the door hangers on their doors. And maybe even with the flyers. So I've obtained the listing, and now I want to go ahead and I want to promote the listing to everyone. So what am I going to do? I'm going to go ahead and advertise it through flyers that I'm going to be able to get printed out. If my company doesn't allow me to print, maybe I'm working with a print shop, or maybe I'm working with a FedEx, Kinko's. And then social media. So one thing that I added onto here, it says, have your things outlined it for the month. So every month as we business plan, because we're professionals and we're COOs of our companies, right? We're writing out our business plan of how do we want this month to look like. We got to say, hey, when is my advertisement going to go out as far as social media goes, as far as my flyers, or even when am I going to door hang? Okay. I have my mindset set up because I've woken up early. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add it to my calendar so that I can ensure that it gets done. Okay. Social media, post often on social media. Original post to keep your followers interested, okay? Maybe I have some type of posting calendar that's out there. I learned last week, or I heard last week, I should say, about having everything broken out. What am I going to post on Monday through Friday? So like that, they're getting some type of content from me. So even as you're planning out your week, writing out what am I going to post every single day, because I want my people to continue seeing me, and maybe even subscribing to some type of scheduler that's out there for you. There's so many companies that's out there that will schedule your posts for you if you're able to allocate funds to that. Or if not, you can simply just use notes. I was using notes for a while. You would use notes on what, if you have an iPhone, and if you don't have an iPhone, you have an Android, I guess you would use WordPad, I think is what's on there. I'm not too sure, I'm sorry. But some type of content, some type of content calendar that says, hey, I need to post this on Monday, I need to post this on Tuesday, I need to post this on Wednesday. And even on the weekends, sometimes people are browsing the social media platform on the weekends because this is when they have time. And maybe they want to talk about selling their homes, and maybe they just happen to land onto your post. And even a better post, a post that you're able to do a small amount of lead gen through, and that now they're able to call you to sell their home. Email campaigns. Do you have a database? First and foremost, before we even get into that, email campaigns. Guys, so many times I get flyers and email articles from realtors. I love you all, but I truly don't want to see your information. Sometimes when my friends send them to me, I say, hey, like, you want to filter your people so that they're getting the right information. You don't want to inundate people with emails. As realtors, we get a lot of emails. And sometimes what we end up doing is we end up unsubscribing to our friends as much as we don't want to, but we do it because it's just such an inundation of stuff that's coming on. And once again, we don't want that information overload. So what I would say is getting a correct database, categorizing your people so you know who's who, my sellers, my buyers, my renters, my family, my friends, my realtors. Because sometimes there's a listing out there that happens to be stale, and I got to get this listing sold. My seller's on me, they need to move this property. I understand that it's overpriced, or I understand that there's certain issues with it, but guess what? I can use this one flyer or this one content to share it to my realtors, okay? But every single listing that you get, every single open house that you're doing, every single property that you close, I don't know about the rest of you guys, but it's information overload. And what it shows me is that you don't have your people in categories. So you're just sending me out everything that you find. It's almost like the flyers that come to your home. They go straight from the mailbox into the garbage. Okay. And then community events, how involved are you in that community? So as you've identified what type of style of home you wanted to sell or what area you wanted to work, now you're going to say, hey, how do I get myself into the community? Because people like to work with people that they like. So now I understand that community involvement is very important because they see me in the community, they see that I'm active in the community, and guess what? They're probably going to call me, or probably even before they call me, they're probably going to say, hey, I'm thinking about selling my home. Or they're probably going to tell you about the neighbor that's probably thinking about selling their home. Or you're probably going to see, guess what? You're probably going to see the pregnant lady that comes, okay? Or the family that moves in that's probably renting in the area that needs to buy. Guess what? Sometimes when you see things that are happening, marriages, sometimes divorces, sometimes pregnancy, congratulations to our women that are pregnant on here, it sometimes means that they need more space. So could a filler opportunity be there? Okay. So be intentional about being involved in the communities. Okay. Be intentional about everything that you do. Okay. So community involvement, as I'm picking my areas that I want to work, what volunteer opportunities are there? Okay. What schools are there? What activities are there? You know, anyone involved in any community work that they can share some ideas with the group that's here today? Anyone?
I will just say this: we get grants every year for beautification, a lot of different areas. So if you have an idea for a space, reach out to us. We can't guarantee that it will happen, but if it's a good idea and we can get city officials behind the idea, there's a chance that we can get money from NAR. So if you do see something, hit us up. Let us know, and we'll let you know if it can happen. And not to mention, it's a great way for you to get involved with the community and use money that your dues go towards anyways.
This is Angelique Hibbert, and to answer the question, one of the things as far as community, we in my community where I live in Miami, we have what do you call it? It's called Bell Harbor Unscripted. And basically there are a lot of events that goes on in that actual, it's different kind of events that happen every single month. And I make sure that I go to those events so that people know who I am. Going to one of the events, basically I'd found someone, long story short, I was able to get a postcard into every building into Bell Harbor for being a part of Bell Harbor Unscripted. I had an opportunity to actually be what we may call a docent, to talk a little bit about artwork that was being presented. So it's good to be a part of those communities, be a part of your community. When events come out, you run into people. And so I was able to get over 5,000 postcards created by the Bell Harbor Unscripted division of Bell Harbor into the hotels to let people know that we have this artwork on display, and there'll be someone there to discuss it with you.
Beautiful. Thank you for that. Anyone else? Anyone else involved in their community or organization or just anything? I think a community can also be a church as well. Okay, so like if you have a heavily in the church, maybe you want to think outside the box. PTAs are also communities as well. You know, if you're a part of Chamber of Commerce, those are communities as well. So you definitely want to make sure that you involve your time and you get involved.
I'm also involved in my the community around the area where I live. I'm actually the president of the PTA for an elementary school in our area. So I'm working on getting out there in the community.
There you go. There you go. Congratulations to you.
Yeah, you have a great opportunity there, so make the most of it for sure.
Thank you.
All right. So now that we have identified who our people are, we've cleaned up our database, our people are in the right categories, we're going to go ahead and we're going to make sure that we're touching them at least 4 times a month. Sorry about that. We're going to ensure that we're touching them at least 4 times a month. So our people that are in homes, but they may not be selling because they probably just moved into there, or they're just maybe people that are future sellers. What am I going to do? I'm going to make sure that I attack them. I'm going to change it from 6 months. So I'm going to say every 4 months. Okay. Every 4 months, you want to make sure that you're attacking these people with some type of content as to what's happening. I think information as far as creating a quick flyer as where the market stats are. Miami Association, if you happen to be a part of our organization, is a great platform. They provide the statistics every single month as to what's happening with the condo market, the single family market for the Tri-County area, Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach. So right there, you're taking that information. And then if you follow Chris, who gives you tons of articles, which Kevin, what's that website that they can go to if they wanted those articles from Chris? I know it's through Miami Realtors.
SouthFloridaMarketIntel.com.
Got it. Can you drop it in the box for them, please, in the chat?
For sure. I'll do that.
Guys, if you need content, you're like, what do I post? What do I put out there? This is a great resource for you to go to get the information that you need. So keep your clients up to date what's happening. They always say when one sells, 2 or more come on the market. So just think about that. Every time you've missed out on that listing opportunity, understand that 2, 3, 4, I was in Columbus, Ohio. We just got back, and one of the properties that we just closed on maybe about 2 weeks ago, the neighbor just listed an opportunity that we happened to have lost out on. But guess what? If we did what we were supposed to do, that could have been another listing that we generated. So keep your information up to date, but also have your people subscribe. For example, the people that own homes right now, get them onto the Miami Association offers eProperty Watch. I'm on there as well as a homeowner, but get them on eProperty Watch. What it provides to them is what's happening with their market area so that they're not forced to go to Zillow. So many times sellers call us and say, hey, Zillow says my home is worth this. If they're getting the information from you, it's now pulling them back to you as well. Sometimes your company's off at Market Watch reports. You want to make sure you plug everyone into there. And I use the word plug because that's truly what it is. You want to make sure you put them into that, okay? Once they close a transaction, if they're not in your database already, you're now adding them to your database. But guess what? If they were a buyer, now you're changing them from being a buyer into being a seller. And now you're making sure that you're adding their address to that platform that you're using, that they're obtaining information by you. I was in a presentation and they said in California, people are selling every 2 to 3 years now. We used to say 10, we used to say 7. Now, if you hear the California market is selling every 2 to 3 years, and then now you hear that they're coming to South Florida, guess what? The people are coming from there to here. So you want to make sure that you're inputting the information so that they're getting information from you right away. Also, what happens sometimes is people move into homes and due to job changes, due to certain situations, they're forced to sell in 12 months. A lot of us on here, we don't stay in touch with our people once we close, and we end up finding out months or years later that they sold. So if I was able to stay in touch with them through the market updates that I was giving them, once again, I'm still showing them that I am in the industry and I'm still a professional, okay? CRMs, maybe you're providing the information to them as far as what's going on. So let's say, for example, you're revisiting them every single year, you're revisiting them every 5 years, and you're saying, hey, let's talk about the market. Let's talk about what's happening. And it's not a casual conversation. It's an opportunity to say, hey, people are selling in your area. Let's talk about what is your home worth today, okay? I always call expireds and I say, and they tell me that they're no longer interested in selling. And then I tell them, hey, if you were to sell, where would you move to next? What would your dream home look like next? Okay. And what I sometimes find myself doing is going backwards with that. So what I'll do is I will show them what their dream home would look like, what the cost of their dream home would look like. And sometimes that energizes them to just want to buy again, you know? Now, how many of us are staying in contact as far as birthdays, anniversaries, and holidays? Anyone? You may think that's old school. You may truly think that's old school, but you got to understand that you're doing something that someone else isn't doing. Okay. And maybe that's that one touch that they were just about to sell and they just got something from you in the mail. So as I'm putting them into my database, because I have a concrete database, I'm adding in holidays. Holidays happens to be maybe the anniversary of their homes. Holidays happens to be Christmas or whatever holidays they celebrate. Anniversaries also happen to be their wedding anniversaries. What I do every single morning before I start my day, or one of the stuff that I do, is I go onto Facebook and I say, hey, let me see who has a birthday today. Let's see who has a birthday today. And some people are texting me, so I want to make sure that I answer everyone's questions. I do appreciate the feedback. So I just moved my phone over to me. So let me see who has a birthday today. So like that, if they're not in my phone already, because I do add them to my calendar on my phone, what I'll do is I'll text them on there as well. And I'll also send them a birthday card. So sometimes great experience happens. For example, I didn't even know that a client, a past customer of mine, was celebrating their anniversary. I was able to get them anniversary cups that had their wedding date on them. I called her. I said, hey, when's your wedding date? When did you guys officially get married? And before you know it, at a blink of an eye, they had these cups that she told her husband they will never use them and they'll keep them as souvenirs. That's a tool that I was extremely intentional about, because guess what? Now when their friends come over and they're seeing these mugs, it's a conversation starter. Oh my gosh, my realtor didn't get me that. Sellers want to work with agents who know the area. So I'm a community activist in my area now because I've been getting involved in the community. So I pretty much know the area, and now the sellers want to work with me. Sellers want to work with people that know what's happening. Okay. You've ever sat down at a listing appointment and they said, hey, this person sells everything in the area. That person sells everything in the area. It's never too late to start. Sometimes for particular reasons, they're not interested in working with that person or they want someone new. So don't ever think that someone's dominating an area too strongly where you can never break in. It will take some time. Yes, it will. But imagine when they first started, they had some competitors as well, but they were able to scale over them and end up getting the listings and why they're dominating those areas now. So if there's an area that you're thinking about breaking into, first of all, watch who's dominating the area. If you're seeing sales that are happening, see where these sales are going to, see who's listing these homes, see what are they doing to list these homes. So knowing your competitor is extremely important. We spoke about that on the first slide. While we are in the family in this real estate industry, at the end of the day, we do compete against each other. So know what each person's doing. So like that, if you need to perfect what you're doing, you know where to start, okay? So they want to work with people that know the area. Sometimes you don't happen to know the area, and I'm one of the ones. I do not go to Port St. Lucie. I don't go to Orlando. I even try not to even go to Miami-Dade County because it's not my area. So what I try to do is I try to partner up with people that know the area. I sometimes go on listing appointments, and what I'll do is I'll bring an agent from my company that happens to service that office or that area, because I know if a question pops up, they're probably in more favor to understand it than I am. 50%, 75%, 25% is better than zero. Keep that in mind, okay? Pick one area and market it, okay? Understanding your area. So location, location, location. I always say, pick an area that you want to live in. Pick an area where you see yourself raising your family or starting a family there. Pick an area that you're always in. Okay. I tell people sometimes, hey, you work this area so much, why don't you move there? It makes so much sense for you to move there, you know? So you want to be close to the area. You want to know what's happening. You want to know the models of the homes. Even though they're cookie cutter homes, sometimes there's different models. And when you walk in, a seller's telling you that this is a Jasmine or this is a Portobello, and you have no idea what they're talking about, that's an opportunity to say, hey, I need to go back and I need to study these models that are here. Okay. Do your homework and don't be afraid of the competition. We just spoke about that. We don't need to beat that up. That was a comment or question. Any comments or questions so far?
I have a quick question about choosing a farm area.
Mhm.
Sorry about the noise in the background. um, is it best to choose an area that you currently live in, or just pick somewhere where you frequent or frequently visit?
It's up to truly you. If you're saying, hey, I want to maybe be in a more return rate area as far as sales and stuff like that, you may want to go to a different area. If you want to say, hey, I'm walking my dog, I'm going to the schools in the area as far as my kids, I'm always in the neighborhood, I would hate for the neighbor to list without me, then maybe it's an area that you need to pick on. But maybe sometimes it's numerous areas. It's an area of where I want to be. I see myself in the next 5 years. And at the same time, it's the area where you currently reside, because you would hate for the neighbor right next door to you to list and not call you, right? So it's a decision that you truly have to make with yourself. But I think you have to at least start with picking an area that you're going to dominate and say, hey, I'm going to obtain every single listings there. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Farming. I'm on a 1 hour scale. It's 1:47. I'm here till 2. Someone told me to slow down. I'm just trying to get through the slides as quickly as possible. So farming. So am I going to allocate funds to farming, or am I going to get leads or seller opportunities from hosting open houses, from door knocking the area? Once again, you got to pick what you're going to do, but guess what? You got to also put it on your calendar and your schedule as well. So I always say, have a budget, farm. I'm finding myself now pulling back and scaling back on what I'm doing for farming, because my company says, hey, you're spending way too much money in marketing. Let's perfect what you're doing now and let's scale back a little bit. So that's what I'm in the mission of doing right now. But if you're not able and you're just starting off and you say, hey, I don't have a lot of funds to put a lot of money into Zillow ads or referral based companies or Movoto or sold.com or anything like that, you may want to say, hey, I want to knock on doors. It's free. So what am I going to do? I'm going to pick a schedule and I'm going to continue to do that every single week. Just as we go to the gym every single morning, we're going to say, hey, every Wednesday at 3 o'clock, I'm going to knock the doors. Every Wednesday at 10 o'clock in the morning, I'm going to knock the doors. Okay. I'm going to make sure that I have proper signage around so people know what I'm doing. If I happen to be working in an area where I'm door knocking and there's restaurants by there, or maybe there's a laundromat by there, or maybe there's a jewelry store by there, or maybe even a car wash by there, I'm going to make my name known there as well. So maybe what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop by and say, I always ask them, do you have some type of bulletin board where we can advertise? We advertise to the consumers, we advertise to the employees, but I'm going to also get very familiar with what's happening there. They say always go to the same stores over and over again so that they can remember your face. I'm going to host open houses. If I don't have any listings, I'm going to partner up with an agent that may have an area that I want to break into and say, hey, can I host your home open? Can I host an open house on here? I'm going to fix this slide real quick. Sorry about that. All right. So door knocking. So what am I going to do with door knocking? I'm going to create a flyer. I'm going to use Canva that happens to be a free platform, or I'm going to use a company that happens to create designs for me. And they're going to create a flyer for me. My flyer is going to already have my color schemes. It's already going to have my logo, because we spoke about that earlier. It's already going to have my mission statement. It's going to have my slogan. It's going to have proper contact information. And that's what I'm going to use to knock the areas. I'm going to provide to them information as to what's happening in the areas. What home just sold, what home just came onto the market, what information is happening, because now I'm going to subscribe to Chris's articles and I'm going to get those articles and I'm going to provide that to the homeowners. So imagine if you're attacking these people every 30 days and you're giving them a different piece of information. Okay. I'm going to call expireds and FSBOs. So if you're not subscribed to some type of list, what you can possibly do is say, hey, let me partner up with some people and let's see how much does this company charge for their list. And let's see if we can split it. And now we're splitting the numbers and maybe even splitting the leads up. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to call expireds and FSBOs. Okay. If there's some time, I'll role play with you guys real quick on how I get on the phones every single morning, how the conversation goes. And if I have the opportunity to pay for advertisement, what I'm going to do is I'm going to subscribe to a company that is going to have a great return. Some people say Zillow's great. Some people say it's not so great. I think at the end of the day, it's all what you put into it. If you get a lead, it's all what you put into it. And yeah, there are times there are bad leads that are out there. So if you're looking into investing into any companies, what you want to do is you want to do your due diligence in there, and then you also want to give it time. Okay. Don't just start it and cancel it. Don't go to another platform. Don't switch. Okay. Truly say, hey, I'm going to invest into this company for the next 1 year or the next 6 months. And I'm going to make sure that I have the funds reserved for it as well. Okay. Someone's trying to get into the room. So converting the lead, your goal is to get the listing appointment. So I'm knocking on doors, providing information, seeing who's ready to list. I am going to call expireds. I'm going to call FSBOs. I'm going to even maybe call some people that are facing pre-foreclosures. I'm going to call people that may have passed away. So the homes need to go through probate, with a lot of people that have unfortunately passed away through the pandemic. Their homes sometimes do need to get sold. So maybe I want to target that, see what's going on with that. Okay. Taking control of the conversation. What's the selling price do they have in mind? So one thing that I always recommend is to pre-qual. So you do get a listing appointment. You want to make sure you ask the right questions. Sometimes you're walking into appointments and you're saying, hey, this is not the best time for you to sell. Or did you know that I can get you a lot more? I love when I speak to a seller and they say they want 400 for their home, and you're able to tell them, hey, I can get you 430. I can get you 450 based on the comps, based on the projection of what's happening here in the area. You study what's going on. Don't get an appointment and run out the same day. I never recommend that. Regardless if you're not doing anything, I never recommend that. If you happen to speak to the person in the morning and you're able to allocate some time to truly studying what's happening, say, hey, I have a 5:30, 7 p.m. open, which one works better for you? Okay. You don't want to get the appointment, jump in the car. You want to study what's happening, because your one shot may be your only shot. Okay. So studying the agents that's in the area, you're studying the advertisement that needs to be done. You're studying where the buyers are coming from. You're studying what are you going to do to market their home and sell their home. You're also studying what needs to be done to get their property sold. You're going to find out if they need to move in efforts to, do they need to sell in efforts to move first, or can they move first and then sell? Is their sell going to be a relocation? So sometimes when their sells a relocation, I'm automatically thinking, what agent do I know through my referral base that I can automatically put them into? And now I've already come up with a plan. I met this lady that was moving to Connecticut, and we were already able, I walked into the appointment and I already told her about the company that we offer, which is a relocation service. And I was already able to email the relocation department of my company and let them know that, hey, this person's thinking about moving. Can you send me someone? So I was able to connect her with an agent already at the same time that she was signing the listing. Imagine that. I seem like the professional when she has 4 or 5 other people that she's getting ready to list with. Okay. Taking time to understand, what were some upgrades that you've done to the home? That's a question that you definitely want to ask, so that you can envision the home since you have not been inside of it yet. Mr. Seller, if you were to stay in the home another 5 years, what would be some changes that you've done to the home? Is there anything about the property that I need to know about? Okay. Asking the right questions. Okay. Is there a mortgage on the property? Are you the only owner to the home? Sometimes they happen to be separated and they think because they're separated and the spouse told them they could stay in the house that they own it. But guess what? You got to go locate the spouse that's probably in another state or another country. You want to make sure that you know that. Sometimes you have to do a double take on the appointments as well. You want to make sure that you schedule that correctly. There's been times where I was determined to meet this particular person, but they're like, hey, my spouse isn't available. I said, fantastic. Let's go ahead and let's schedule an opportunity for me to meet with the both of you guys. But what I'd like to do today, though, is just stop by for about 10, 15 minutes and just get acquainted with your home so that when I go back home, I can truly study what's happening with your property and I can make sure that I give you the right value. Okay. So if you had 10 or 15 minutes, would you be available for me to stop by today? Okay. And that at that time, I'm bringing to them some information that happens to be useful to them so that they're able to prepare themselves when they meet me. There's been so many times where I've walked into the second appointment and guess what? They've already done the research that we provided to them in our pre-listing kit and they're ready to sign, or sometimes they've already signed the agreement and they're just ready to answer their 3 questions. And I typically get in and get out. Okay. Listen comes into asking the right questions. As we all are professionals, we all want to do well. Sometimes we happen to just be a little bit way too excited and we want to talk a lot. We want to talk, we want to control the conversation, but sometimes they just really want you to just listen to them, take notes of everything because what they're saying is truly valuable to them. That's why they're sharing it with you. Okay. I moved into this home because of X, Y, and Z. And while you may say, yeah, I want to get in and I want to get out, sometimes you listening can impact them signing today or not. Okay. Don't go in there and say, I'm the professional. I sell everything. I understand this. I understand that. We have to close our mouths. I go on appointments sometimes with my colleagues and sometimes they're just talking. I'm like, stop. Let the person answer the question. Let them, don't help them with the question. If they like, for example, they're processing, and you'll notice that happens a lot. They're processing what they're about to say to you and you want to help them out. Don't do that. Allow them to articulate what they're going to say because you want to make sure you catch everything. Sometimes by doing that, you throw them off, you know, and they're not able to get what they really need to get over to you. And then again, you're dealing with the different personalities that's out there, you know, so build trust, rapport, create a bond with your contact. Have a value proposition once again, okay? Prepare your presentation in the CMA format to ensure that you have the comps. Don't just sell don't just try to sell the seller, try to win the seller over. What are their goals? What are they looking for, okay? Tour the home. So what we typically do is when we first walk in, we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna walk the home. Some people say allow the seller to sit down. I actually do it a little bit differently. I tell the seller to walk me through the home. I walk behind them because I want to hear everything that they want to say about the property. And as some coaches out there may say, have them sit down as you walk the home. I feel as you're not able to learn when did they paint the wall or why did they paint the room this color or when did they change the floors or when did they do the bathroom. So I allow them to walk me through the home. I don't speak much. I take notes on everything. I ask them if it's okay for me to take notes. I sometimes say, is it okay for me to take photography, for me to take pictures so that I remember certain things when I'm inputting the MLS or when I'm going back and saying, hey, how am I going to stage this individual's home so that we're able to sell it for top dollar, okay? I'm gonna come up with a marketing plan so that they know exactly what we're working with as far as how their home is gonna go, okay? The marketing plan is very important because what happens is in today's market, sometimes the seller needs to sell first, sometimes they need to buy first, sometimes they need to declutter, sometimes there's so much that needs to go on. We have to have a particular marketing plan. And what I always do is I always follow up my appointments with an email. Mr. Seller, it was so great meeting you today. Just a recap of what took place today, okay? And then there I plug in homework assignments and on there we talk about deadlines. You stated that you wanted to be in Chicago in the next 3 months and efforts for us to be in Chicago in the next 3 months. We need to have your home on the market no later than August 15th. We need to have the photographer there by August 17th because it's gonna take us 4 days to get the images, 5 days to syndicate through the MLS and other websites, open house scheduled for Saturday. So like that, we ran into a situation actually a couple of weeks ago, and I think Tarika's with me, was that the seller says, hey, we're off contract, we're off schedule, what's happening here, you know? And it was actually her delay, but she knew that, and she knew that she needed to put some pep in her step so that we can get her back onto schedule so that she can make sure she makes her move to the next spot. We're cutting it down to 1 minute. I'm gonna try to go to as much as this slide presentation as I can go. Is everyone enjoying what they're hearing so far?
Woo. Yeah, great.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's great info.
Awesome.
Yes.
I just want to take a quick poll of the room real quick. Can't figure out how, but okay. All right, we have
Jeff, unless you got somewhere to be, I understand if you do, but you can go over. I mean, you're holding the crowd. It hasn't dropped much at all. So keep riding, baby.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I do have a 3 o'clock, but I am going to run through as quickly of this as I can. If you guys have any comments or questions or anything that I can add on, please don't hesitate to add the information. As I said, this is definitely a learning opportunity for myself as well. All right, so.
Jeff, do you offer staging to all of your seller contacts when you meet them, and how do you present that concept?
I don't, but it happens to be on our one-pager marketing plan that we use. And what I do is I like to read people's faces. I like to see what's going on. I like to say, especially when the home is cluttered with a lot of stuff, I kind of take the pressure off of me and I say, guess what? We're going to have a stager come over to your home. They're going to go ahead and they're going to tell you where we need to reposition everything. They're going to tell you some stuff that you need to get out of your home. And in that meantime, I'm texting my stager, getting her schedule. And I'm saying, hey, guess what? We can have the stager here tomorrow. She can talk to you about some stuff that you need to do. So now that I've heard of people sometimes helping the seller pack up their home, move chairs and move stuff. I'm really, really not into that type of stuff, sorry to say. So I don't like to get inundated with that type of stuff. So what I do is I kind of just throw the burden over to the stager. The stager walks the home, they provide their feedback, and like now they're now dealing with the stager directly. We offer that service. It's not something that we definitely take the charge on. If it's something that we're competing against, like I did just compete against another agent, I did take the charge of it. But what I try to do is I try to tell them what it's going to cost them to stage their home. Or what I do is my team and I kind of charge a different commission scale than the norm that's out there. So what we do is we kind of give them their options. We can do this for this package, we can do that for that package, and we can do this for this package. So now they have 3 packages that they can choose from, and all the funds are coming from the commission directly. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. All right, so we don't take listings without them being signed. You don't want an open market listing. Understand that an open market listing belongs to everyone and it doesn't belong to you. I don't typically entertain sellers without a listing agreement. I normally do get the listing signed the first time that I'm there. That's my goal. My goal is to get the listing signed. So what I do is I always pre-qual. I go in there, I review the pre-qual. Mr. Seller, to my understanding, you want to be in Chicago in the next 3 months. You owe about $400,000 on your home. You're the only decision maker. You did the roof, the kitchen, the bathrooms in the last 6 years. Is everything that I said correct? Fantastic. So all what we need to talk about right now is the pricing of your home. I did take notice of what took place here. When did you do this? When did you add the pool? I did notice we may need to paint the walls a little bit. We may need to take some personal pictures down. But without further ado, are you ready to talk about the market and how we're going to get your property sold for top dollar today? And they're going to say yes to me. And at that time, we're going to dive into the CMA. We're going to dive into the comparables. I'm going to understand exactly, because I pre-qualified them. I'm going to say, Mr. Seller, if you were to sell your home, what do you think your home is worth today? So if they say 400 and their house is worth $300,000, I'm like, oh God, this person's overpriced. So I'm going in there understanding that I need to bring them back to reality. Or in today's market, I'm understanding that, wow, there's room for opportunity, as you guys do understand that something's listed for 410, you're sending in a 430 offer. So I'm giving them that opportunity, but I'm also educating them on that. And I think education is key. You're educating them on that, letting them know that, hey, with today's market, these are some stuff that can definitely happen. So I rather price the market where the market's fair and understand that it is going to go up. Regardless if I price it at 500, it is going to go up. So Mr. Seller, it's best that we price it where it's fair and we're getting numerous offers, because we do want multiple offers on your home, not just one offer, right? And my questions are kind of open-ended, just like that. I kind of speak to people like that, and I do apologize when I do, but I like to be very clear and direct. So you ask open-ended questions. So like that, there's no confusion. You understand clearly yes or no. So sometimes when I speak to someone, I say, is it okay if I call you back at 3 o'clock? And if I don't get a response, that means you never responded. Therefore, I'm not calling you. Therefore, you didn't answer my question and we weren't clear. So confusion is definitely something that can mess up a transaction between a seller and an agent, because we're not having clear understanding. So you definitely want to make sure that you're clear on your questions. You make sure you want to control the conversation, but at the end of the day, you want to make sure you get your questions answered. Okay. So never work without a listing agreement. I think we all know that. And obviously if there's any brokers in the room, they won't allow that anyways. Be careful with inputting extra verbiage in your agreement, or sometimes you need to put extra verbiage in your agreement. Sometimes they say, you need to understand, sometimes they say, hey, I won't sell my home unless I find a home. So you did get the listing signed, but you have to understand that your goal now is to maybe go find them a property before they can sell their home. Okay, that's happening right now with the insane market. And sometimes you're saying, hey, I got to pull the property off the market because there's just nowhere for the seller to go. Okay. Build in the set price reduction up front. So if you do happen to take a listing that's overpriced, have the conversation. It's okay to have the conversation about what do we do in the next 30 days if the home doesn't sell. And I just encountered that, you know, I was shocked. I was shocked to see this home sell for the price that it sold because the market is just crazy. But I said, hey, I'm really not comfortable with this price. I think it's a little bit high. Would it be okay that we go ahead and we price your home at this price today? And if it doesn't sell, then we'll have the conversation again in the next 2 weeks. Is okay. And then what I'm doing is I'm saying, hey, that conversation is probably going to be us talking about the price, reducing the price because we want to, once again, we want multiple offers, correct? And if we don't get any traffic and we hold an open house and the open house only has 5 to 7 people in today's market, when you just told me about John's house had over 50 people at that open house, right? And you told me you wanted about 50 people to come to your home, right? Okay, so if we host your home open and we don't have about 50 people, we're going to be talking about reducing the price so that we can get you those 50 people, okay? So having that understanding up front, don't be afraid. Sometimes we lose listings because we go for the renewal and we're not able to secure the renewal because we never built that rapport with them. We didn't keep them informed and we weren't educating them. All right, now marketing the home. We spoke about staging already. Professional photos. It's 2021. Our iPhones definitely do take great photos, but I think we're realtors. So let's keep it to real estate. Let's hire a professional photographer. Let's get them some videography. Let's talk to them about their marketing plan. And you guys have to understand, we have to fight for our commission, especially in today's market, as there's FSBOs that are selling on their own. So what does that mean? We need to fight for our commission. So what are we doing? We're talking about the marketing plan, and we're going to tell them, Mr. Seller, as you can definitely think about selling your home on your own, there's 100 and something ways that I market properties to get them sold for top dollar. And I know you definitely want to be in you definitely want to be in that group of homes that sell for top dollar, correct? So what you want to do is you want to make sure that you're offering them professional photography. If it's we do professional photography on everything, even our rentals, we definitely do professional photography on it because as I said earlier, before we started, it's not about the one listing, it's about the listings that I'm going to get in the area, plus the people that are coming into the home. Make sure your listing description is well written out with no grammatical errors. Video tours are really big right now, especially with COVID. So you want to make sure you're offering that virtual open house opportunity. A lot of times the people are not letting people into homes right now. So what's happening is you're saying, hey, I do have a video that I'd like to send to you, okay? So that's why it's very important that you're kind of including a home designer or a stager if you don't have the magic touch yourself on prepping homes to get sold so that you're able to showcase the house really well, okay? Proper signage, email blasts, open house, brokers opens, direct mail, Facebook ads. I always bring them a copy of the contract as well so that they know what they're signing when we do go over it. I always bring them a copy of the listing presentation, the listing agreement as well. I call it a marketing agreement. I always bring them a copy of the marketing agreement so that they're comfortable with it in advance. The copy of the contract, the reason I bring it is so that they're familiar with what they're signing. The day that I bring them over these 12, 20, 30 offers, trust me, we're not going through the contract at that time. We're going through the best offer and the best situation. So I provide to them the highlighted sections of what's going to stand out to them, which is approval time as far as if they're getting a loan, down payments, and I'm explaining to them typically in the presentation process. Once they've signed the agreement, we're pretty much going through all of that, okay? But understand that not every marketing plan works for every seller or every home. Understand that you do have to take a little bit more time and say, hey, if I'm listing a condo and I understand that the buyers are coming from here and there, I need to make sure that I include that. And sometimes you're giving the seller these information as well. Mr. Seller, are you familiar with what type of buyers are moving into your area? Sometimes they know, sometimes they don't know. So once again, I want to make sure that I stand out as the professional. I'm saying, hey, the buyers that are coming from here are the ones that are typically moving into this area. Have you noticed anyone from here move into there? Feedback is extremely important. So I don't think we're dealing with high listing prices today. I think in some areas, I understand the condo market might be very saturated right now in the Miami area. So feedback is extremely important. If you guys are showing properties and you do get that alert, if you could just take the time out to provide the feedback, because sometimes it's what's needed so that the seller can reduce the price. Understand, if you have a condo building and there's 10 listings in there, and one seller starts to reduce, guess what? The next seller is going to reduce, and the next seller is going to reduce, and the next seller is going to reduce, providing your buyer the opportunity to get that price, that home, for what they believe is truly priced. Okay. Answer your phone calls. Okay. Ask the agent for the feedback in writing. Be the messenger, Mr. Seller, based on the showings that we had. This was the feedback. And even if you have great showings, you still want to provide feedback again. Okay, Mr. Seller, we had 7 showings today. This is what happened in the 7 showings. We personally show all of our listings. We don't typically use lockboxes or Supras. We personally show, so we're able to have that interaction with the seller. The properties that we do use lockbox or Supras, we definitely call to get the feedback and see what's going on. But you definitely want to say, hey, we had 7 showings today. This is what the feedback was from the 7 showings, or the 3 showings, or the 2 showings. Because once again, you want to make sure that you stand at the other degree, and that's the professionalism degree. Okay. Address issues, Mr. Seller, based on the showing today of the home. These were the concerns that the people had. Okay, they hear it once, they hear it twice. They may want to say, hey, here's an opportunity for me to do something. Okay. If you are going to show the property, I kind of update people in the beginning. If you guys ever attended a showing of mine, what I do is I update the people in the beginning as far as what are some stuff that's going to stand out. So people want to know about roof, they want to know about AC, they want to know about plumbing, they want to know about impact windows. So I kind of update them on that. And then what I do is I allow them to tour the home. I don't walk them around the kitchen and the bathrooms and stuff like that. But what I will do is I'll identify when the kitchen was done, what type of appliances are in there. If they're higher end, if they happen to be smart appliances, I will definitely make sure I tell them about that. But I don't think we need to point out that a bathroom's a bathroom. Okay. Try not to show the property when the seller's home. So at the time that we do get a listing, I say, Mr. Seller, how are we going to be handling the showings of your home today? And I allow them to speak every single time. I allow them to speak, but then I give them my recommendation. They say, yeah, have the person come in Wednesday. Typically I'm home around 6 or 7. They can come around that time. And I'll say, what happens if someone wants to see your home at 2 o'clock in the afternoon and you're not home? I say the best course of action is for you to provide a copy of the key to me. And what I'll do is I'll make sure that I lock up, I turn off all the lights, I turn the AC back to where it was. I'll make sure that the home is clean. Through COVID right now, I'll make sure that we have booties, hand sanitizers, we wipe down, and I'll go ahead and I'll show your home for you while you're not away so that we're not missing any opportunities. I use that because it allows me the opportunity to truly take full control of this home. Like that, I'm not having other agents walking in when I'm not there. I'm not having the seller speak to the agent. One of the worst things to do. Sometimes these agents start asking most weirdest questions. So I typically try to show all of our properties, and we try to make sure the seller's not there. Also, if you're hosting an open house or a broker's open, you definitely want to make sure that the seller is not in the home as well. A little awkward, but it all comes in education. Mr. Seller, you stated that you wanted an open house. Do you remember the last open house you went to? Did you recall seeing the seller in the home at that time? For us to better showcase your home, we need to detach you away from the properties, which is why I told you to take down all of your personal photos. So in addition to that, I'm going to need your home from about 2 to 3 hours so that I can go ahead and I can showcase it to everyone, making sure that you're not a part of the home and they can able to see themselves living here. Okay. We spoke about that. I got the contract, now what? So once again, you're answering your phone. Guys, even though you're hosting the listings right now, I want to give you some statistics that I pulled. So what they say is that 60% of your business needs to be new business, leaving the other 30 or 40% to be referral business. So the team and I have completed 78 transactions year to date, and 50 of those happen to be listings. And we're talking about January to July 28th. The ratio of that is 65% of our business has been listings, okay? So with that being said, we all do need each other. So we wanna make sure that we're courteous, we're kind. So we definitely wanna answer the phones. We definitely wanna respond to text messages. We definitely wanna get back to people in a timely fashion, okay? So as a listing agent, you definitely want to control the negotiations. You want to make sure that you're very clear as to what you're looking for in your offers. So maybe with the market the way it is today, maybe preparing a one pager that you're adding to the attachments and saying, hey, this is what the seller is going to be looking for in their offers. We understand that in this market today, it's going to be a busy market. We're going to get a lot of offers. Just to save your time and save our times, please submit the following. You know what I mean? I highly recommend, please, if you're one of those people that use .loop or use DocuSign or use Form Simplicity, if you can please not send your emails through there, your offers through there, please take the time, compress the file and send it as a PDF. You look so much as a professional. It's no different than sending an email out and not having a subject. I think offers should be submitted in the same profession. What happens sometimes is you try to communicate with the agent on that .loop. There's no phone number to contact them. How do I contact you to let you know your offer got accepted? Guess what? I got to move to the other person because I understand I'm going to spend my next 30, 45 days with you. And if you can't get an email right, I don't know if I want to spend my next 30, 45 days with you. Okay. So just understand everything that you do it with excellence. Okay. So compress your emails. Always remember that the deal does have to work on both sides. Don't think because you're holding the listings that you're the king of the town. It has to be favorable to both people. Make concessions that meet in the middle. So be reasonable. So many times we say my seller, my client. It's not truly mine. Nothing belongs to you. No one belongs to you. It's for the course of the transaction. So I always say the seller, the seller. You never want to say my seller, my client, my anything. Understand that everything that we do is for the good of the transaction. Okay. Seller must always feel like you're negotiating in their behalf. Even if you don't agree with the seller, don't provide them that. I would definitely say, hey, like for example, we just got an inspection back. The people asked for $7,000. He called me today. I said, what do you feel is a fair amount to give them? I said, are you open to doing any of the repairs? Were you able to review the inspection report that they sent over to us? What do you believe is the next course of action we should take? Okay, I took into consideration everything that they said. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and formulate that in an email format and send it over to the buyer and say, based on the inspection report, based on everything, the seller believes X, Y, and Z. Okay. And then from there, the buyer has the option to do whatever he or she believes is next. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure, once again, it works out for both sides. Respond to your emails, your phone calls, and text messages. Wow, that one is big. That one's truly big. Sometimes we're not even in business and we don't even respond to messages. So just make sure that you're very courteous about that because, oh wow, it's already here. Be kind to the other side because the tables do turn. We said that earlier. I want to save time. You guys are very familiar on what to do once you guys go under contract. So just make sure that, I think at the appointment, you should definitely be talking to the seller about open permits and violations. You should definitely be talking to them about, excuse me, if the buyer is obtaining a loan, what happens? I always tell sellers, just like I tell my buyers, what happens in an inspection process, what happens in the appraisal process. So in an appraisal process, I say here are 4 things that are going to happen once the appraisal is completed, Mr. Seller. We are going to either accept the offer, we're going to either cancel, the buyer is going to bring in some money, or you're going to have to lower the price. These are going to be the 4 options. So when the appraisal does come back, the seller automatically knows what's next. Education is key, even for our clients. Any questions or comments now? We've reached to the end. Any questions or comments now? Conduct your final walkthroughs. Be there for your final walkthroughs. Make sure that the home is clean. There's an area in the contract that talks about maintenance. Ensure that the grass is cut. Ensure that the home is clean. Ensure that the home is is prepared for closing and handing off. You have to understand, if you were to be on the other side and your buyer was moving into a home, how should it look? And then always ask for the referrals. I believe in asking for the referrals when they go under contract. I believe in asking for the referrals when the file closes. I believe in asking for the referral when you get the listing signed. I think always asking for the business. You just never know what's happening is as they're going through this, they're talking to people, and so many other people have the same concerns, the same comments, the same questions. So truly asking for the business, you'll never know how your pipeline will just grow just like that. We've reached the end of the presentation. I hope it was extremely useful to everyone that was here, but I am going to open up for some questions, some comments. I see someone's hands up.
Yes, that's me. Hey, Jeff.
Talk to me.
Hey, so couple things. First and foremost, this was amazing, very amazing. What I will definitely say is I know sometimes we tend to struggle, at least speaking for myself, with going through listing presentations, knowing, you want to make sure you touch on everything to provide them that value. So as you were speaking about going over the appraisal and things of that nature, it actually made me think back, well, educate them in the same manner that you educate your buyers. In regards to the process, it's the same thing.
Exactly.
So that was amazing. That really hit home for me. But I wanted to go back. You mentioned that I just want to confirm. Do you go over the CMA, the numbers after they sign the listing agreement, and if so, how do you get them to do so?
So actually, that's not in the presentation. Thank you. That's a fantastic question. We do go over it. So based off of once we go into the CMA and we talk about the homes that have sold, the homes that are under contract, and what their competitors are, which are our active listings, I give it back to them. I say, based on what we just looked at, what do you believe is a fair price to price your home at? They'll give me that number and I'll say, okay. I'll give them, if my estimated net sheet, which I always have with me, doesn't match up to them, I'm gonna say, let's go back. Let's pull one home from this that is very competitive to your home. What did that home sell at? Based off of that, I believe we should price your home at this amount. So I use that and I say, if we are to price your home at this amount, this is what you'll be walking away with. And due to the fact that I was able to pre-qual in the beginning, I already know if they have a mortgage, if they had one mortgage, two mortgages, three mortgages, what their payoff is going to be. So I'm able to give them an accurate net sheet. And what I do explain to them is I go through the net sheet as far as what the municipal lien search is, what the title search is. I bring about 3 numbers with me. I bring a high, I bring a medium, and I bring a low, because I have not seen the home. And guess what? An updated home may be, yes, an updated home, but guess what? It was updated 15, 20 years ago. So it's no longer updated, So I do bring all 3 with me, hoping that I'm able to sign them at somewhere in the middle. But sometimes I just need to tailor it. So what I do is I grab my calculator out, I use the numbers that I have before, and I just edit off of there. And every single net sheet is also signed at the time that the listing is signed. So there's no confusion come the time of contract. Okay, so if you do not have a estimated net sheet that's provided to you by your company, maybe what you want to do is partner up with a title company and say, hey, I'm about to go on this listing presentation. Can you prepare these 3 figures for me? Or do you have an app that's out there that I can definitely use to assist with that? With that being said, are there any title companies here that's willing to offer this service to our peoples that we can make sure we win the listings? Any title companies in here?
I think Matrix actually has a seller's net sheet on there.
Yes, they do. And it allows you to add stuff to it as well. Fantastic. Thank you so much for that. So.
And I had another question, if no one else. So really quick. So going back to the listing presentation, I noticed that number 6, you have the 90-day technique on pricing. Is that any different than just doing the CMA? Because I mean, typically when we do a CMA, we do 60 to 90 days out. So is that any different than just the regular CMA?
No, what the 90-day, in that part of the presentation, the 90 days was basically having the conversation with them. So you know that the home is worth 300. You decided to price it at 370, 380, because in today's market, we're not letting any listing go. We're signing every single listing that we can. You're saying, hey, in the next 30 to 60 days, if we don't get what we need to start talking about the pricing and how we're going to reduce it.
Got you. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Anything that I missed?
Jeff, there was one in the chat. Let me scroll up to it real quick. Ricarda asked, where would you look for knocking listing presentation scripts, or who would you recommend?
I think nowadays everything's on Google. So if there's anyone out there that, I'm trying to turn my AC down and I actually searched scripts instead of Nest. If there's anyone that you follow and you believe the information that they're providing to you is great information, you may want to search, hey, does Tom Ferry have scripts? And you may want to grab those scripts and use those scripts. One thing about the scripts is truly knowing them. So studying them, reading them, rehearsing them, practicing them with a family member, writing them out. What happens is sometimes you've learned a script so much or haven't learned a script at all, the seller ends up taking control of the listing appointment, and now you're not getting the listing because you have allowed them to take control of the listing appointment. So one thing that you want to do is you want to learn the script, learn the listing presentation script, so you're able to bring them back to the presentation. Did you go review the calls you suggest for lead generation? Did you go review? Do you want me to review? I think expireds are big. I think FSBOs are big. I think circle prospecting, we didn't speak about that. Circle prospecting is one of the biggest things that is out there right now, because what's happening is the seller is selling because the other person sold. So you definitely want to call an area. If there's an area that you want to break into, if there's an area that you currently host a listing on, you definitely want to call the area. If there's an area that you closed a deal, you happen to have represented the buyer, but guess what? This was torture. It took you forever to get. You may want to say, hey, I know how to fix that issue. I'm going to go ahead and get the listing. You may want to call that area through circle prospecting. There's tons of companies out there. If you're able to pull it off of IMAP, you can use IMAP for the names. And nowadays with people using cell phones, sometimes they're not listening on IMAP. If you use some type of skip tracing system or white pages or True People Search, you can definitely get the phone numbers. I see FSBOs are selling on their own, so I'm kind of calling them less. What I'm doing now is I'm calling expireds that happen to be, we just pulled the list actually. We just pulled 700 to 1 million, 12 months, 24 months back. So what we're doing is we're calling people that thought about selling 2-3 years ago or even 12 months ago, and we're saying, hey, I think we're able to get you your number now. Where did you think about moving to originally when you had put your house on the market? Do I have time for a quick roll call? Yes, I do. Script play. Yes, I do. I enjoy role playing. I enjoy scripting scripts. So yes, I do. If anyone wants to role play with me, let's do it real quick.
I have a question.
This is exciting.
Thank you. What's your question?
Can you ask your question, and then we'll start the role play, and Jeff will answer the question after the role play. Go ahead and ask.
Oh, so I got, like, I'm not sure if I missed this part, but what do you think about sending the whole listing presentation package, or at least the CMA before like confirming the appointment with the seller? Because I'm also like with Kai's, and what I got from the training is like, no, don't send the CMA before, because once in the meeting, you will not really have like a valuable information to talk about like with the seller. So, but also I have seen like other training with the successful realtor that they say like send anything even before that you can impress the seller. So what is your opinion? Is it okay to send it before, where you wait? Because I mean, that at that time, I'm sure there's other realtors that they send a lot of valuable information before confirming the appointment with the seller.
I can definitely agree. So one thing that you want to do, and if anyone wants to jump on the question as well, what I would personally say is the thing about training that we have to understand about training is that we got to take what we believe is useful to us and use that and we don't have to use every single thing that an instructor teaches us. We use what we believe is useful to us. For myself, I'm really big in pre-listing packages. I find myself sometimes spending $20 on overnight packages. Sometimes I drop them off in front of their doors. Sometimes I email it to them if they're someone that does accept email, but I'm definitely about ensuring that my time is not wasted in any form or fashion. So what I do is I do send them everything prior to me coming. The one thing that I don't put on there, which I know there's a lot of trainers that are out there that do say put it in there, is the net sheet. I think the net sheet is the one trigger that would get anyone to cancel an appointment because of their walk away. So if I'm not able to go through my presentation, explain to them why are they paying me what they're paying me, what we're gonna do for them to get them top dollar, I think I am better off holding onto the net sheet, but providing everything else, but holding onto the net sheet until we officially meet so that I can explain it to them. You have to understand, when you look at that net sheet, the biggest thing that's on there is the commission. 20,000, 30,000, 40,000. So they're not seeing anything else but all these zeros. So that's the one thing that I hold, but I know there are some people probably in the room that sends it with their pre-listing packets.
Jeff,
Okay.
what company do you use? What company do you use for your expired? Because I'm using Relics and it doesn't seem to be working out for me with the numbers.
I'm very loyal to LandVoice. I've been using them for about 6 years now, and that's been the company that I use, LandVoice. I pulled the numbers off of there, and that's what has been extremely good to me.
Thanks for sharing.
Thank you. I have a 3 o'clock appointment, so I do want to just go through that role play script real quick with just anyone that wants to jump in. Anyone?
Come on, guys. You guys have a master you get to role play with here.
Who asked for it?
Okay.
Monique
Let's
asked
do it,
for it.
Jeff. Let's do it, Jeff.
All right.
Who was that?
That was me.
I don't know who it is.
Oh,
Hold on.
Sasha. Sorry.
Sasha.
Sasha.
Hey, hey.
I can't see you. Sasha, perfect. I'm going to pin you to the screen so I can see you, okay?
Okay.
Beautiful. All right, go ahead. I'll be the seller. I mean, I'll be the realtor and you be the seller or the buyer or whatever you want to be.
Okay. So am I calling you or?
You're what are you, the seller?
Yeah, right. So I'm the seller. Am I calling you or are you knocking on my door or?
Let's do the phone. I'll call you. You happen to be an expired. You probably just expired. There we go. There we go. You probably just expired maybe a few months ago. So got it. Got it. All right. So, hey, good. Someone just texted me. Hey, good afternoon. My name's Jeff, realtor with the Kais Company, and I'm calling to talk about the home that was recently taken off the market. Am I speaking to Sasha?
Yes, this is she.
Sasha, thank you so much for taking my call. It's my understanding that the house was taken off the market. Why did it not sell?
Well, honestly, I had a realtor and she promised me that this would be going quickly, but unfortunately it just didn't work out. I mean, I don't think she did the best job.
So the realtor did not do the best job. What were some stuff that the realtor promised you that you don't believe they delivered on?
That one, my property was gonna sell within a month, that I was gonna get top dollar for it. And of course, I'm gonna use my proceeds to buy my other property. So yeah, that's what it is.
That you were gonna get top dollar for it, that your property was gonna sell, and that you were gonna use the proceeds to buy another property. When you had listed your home, Sasha, how soon were you looking to get that property sold?
Honestly, within that month. Within that month.
Within 30 days, you had wanted your property sold and into the other home.
Correct. Yeah, I would say.
And with Sasha, what did that other home look like?
The one that I wanted to purchase.
Yes.
Well, definitely a 4-bedroom, the yard space, a pool, ranch style, and in the El Portal area. That's what I was looking for.
Okay, so my understanding
pool is not the deal. Pool is not a deal breaker, but you know.
Fantastic. A pool is not a deal breaker, Sasha, but you were definitely looking to sell your home in under 30 days, move into a 4-bedroom ranch style home in the city of El Portal, and you would have loved to have a pool, correct?
Correct.
And let's say, for example, the opportunity came today to get you into that home. How would you feel?
I would say, let's do it. But I'm still a little hesitant. I don't know, because I've had a lot of agents call me in the past couple of days, you know, promising me all this as well. So I don't know.
Okay, so you are thinking about doing it, but you're just not too certain on, do you trust the realtors that are out there, right?
Exactly.
Got it, Sasha. And if you are to put your home in the market, what are you looking for in a professional this time around?
Definitely communication. I'm really, really big on communication. I just need to know you know, be honest. You come to my home, let me know what I need to do. I'm okay with doing a little bit of repairs. I know right now in this market, I don't necessarily need to, but if it's something that's going to get me some top dollar, absolutely. And if it's not showing because the price it's overpriced, you know, again, it's all about communication. I want to know what's going on every day, just feedback.
Fantastic. So what I understand is that you definitely want an agent that's going to communicate with you. They're going to be honest. They're going to provide proper feedback to you. And even if your home is overpriced, you're ready to have that conversation when I come out and possibly meet with you, right?
Correct.
Beautiful, beautiful. And are you familiar with the ways that we sell homes at my company or the company that I'm with today?
I do not.
Sasha, I'd love to take 15 minutes of your time and show you exactly how we're going to get you into that 4-bedroom, 2-bath, pool home, ranch style in the city of El Portal. I have a 2 p.m. or a 3:15 available for tomorrow. Which one works better for you?
3:15 would be fine.
3:15 does work good for you. And what we're going to do is we're going to talk about our communication, how we're going to be honest, how we're going to talk about pricing, how we're going to get your home sold in under 30 days. Sounds like a plan?
Sounds like a plan. But can I just be very upfront with you, Jeff? Like I mentioned, I know that I know there's a lot of agents that have called me and have promised me that they can do this within 30 days, etc. I need to know how you are different from those people, how you're going to execute you selling my home, and what makes you different from the other ones. To be very honest with you, I don't want to hear any scripted lines. I don't want to hear any of that BS. Okay, I want you to keep it 100, and that's what I'm looking for. So if that's not something that you can do at 3:15 tomorrow, then forget it.
And I can totally understand your frustration. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my time to truly show you how I compete with the other agents. And one thing that I can definitely say, at the time that I come out, we may decide not to work together, but I definitely hope that we do work together. But my goal is only to ensure that we get your home for top dollar in under a short period of time, which is right away. Understanding that what you need, once again, Sasha, is you're looking for an agent that's going to communicate with you, an agent that's going to be honest with you, an agent that's going to talk to you about repairs, and once again, an agent that's going to tell you if your home's overpriced, correct?
Correct.
Beautiful. And you stated that you were not familiar with my company's techniques since getting homes sold, right?
No.
Once again, this is going to be that opportunity, Sasha, for us to definitely talk about that, get your questions answered. I look forward to seeing you Wednesday at 3:15, if that's still open for you. Is it?
Yes.
Beautiful. And once again, it's only going to take 15 minutes, okay?
Okay.
Fantastic. Looking forward to seeing you.
Likewise. Thank you.
So once again, someone said repeat and affirm. I love that. So that's exactly what I did. I allowed the seller to control the conversation by repeating and affirming everything that she says so that she can understand that I'm listening to her, that I understand her. What I took into consideration was, what did she not like about her agent? I took into consideration, what is she looking for in the next agent? So guess what? I'm going to make sure as I attend her appointment, I'm going to attack every single one of those items. In addition to that, I was able to pick up what was she looking for. So my goal is to go there with the properties that happen to be in the El Portal area, or maybe the unincorporated Miami-Dade area, or maybe even the Miami Shores area, because what I want to do is I want to brighten her mind with the market the way it is today and say, hey, these are maybe some other opportunities for you that are not too far away from the El Portal area. What do you think about these homes? Okay. Thank you guys so much for the feedback. I appreciate you guys all. Remember, we all need each other. Once again, thank you, Miami Association of Realtors. Thank you, YPN. I would not be a good president of NARAB South Florida if I did not plug in our back to school event that is taking place August 7th. We invite you guys all there. We are doing a drive. Our drive is going to be to our teachers. So many organizations that are out there are doing drives towards the students, but we believe that the teachers need the stuff as well. So NARAB South Florida, if you're not following us, you definitely want to follow us on Instagram, on Facebook, and join us August 7th. I can get the flyer to Kevin, who can get the flyer to you guys about the event, but narabsf.com/events to register for the event. It's going to be a day of just fun and activities. It is going to be outdoors. We do understand we're still through the pandemic. But we're asking for you guys to even do a monetary donation if you're not able to attend. Understand that these are going back to the teachers that really, really need the items. So I thank you guys so much for your time, and thank you again, Kev.
Hey, before you go, I will say I attended back in 2019. It was a really good time, and you get to hang out with Jeff and a few other leaders from Miami Realtors. So join us there. If you're looking for something to do tonight, we actually have an activity for you. We have our comedy night at the Doral Improv. It is $100. It is a little bit steep, but here's where the money goes. It goes towards our political action committee, which helped us stay essential during the pandemic. So if you're looking for a good time, a few drinks are included with the $100, and you get a comedy show, as well as hang out with the YPN crew. So if you come out, please introduce yourself. I'll introduce you to the rest of the fam, and hope to see you tonight. If you want that registration link, please go to at Miami YPN on Instagram and just click the link in our bio, and the registration is there. Does anybody have any other questions? Latoya, I agree. Jeff crushed it. And Jeff, man, so much pleasure to be able to work with you out there at the years. And I hope it's many years to come, brother. Thank you so much for all your time, help, and energy for Miami YPN.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Till next time.
Bye, everybody. Take care. Be great.
If I find my way home, yeah. Wouldn't it be crazy? Oh, but you still amaze me. Wouldn't it be crazy? Oh, but you still amaze me. Wouldn't it be crazy? Oh, but you still amaze me. Wouldn't it be crazy? Oh, but you still amaze me. If I find my way home, yeah. If I find my way home, yeah. Wouldn't it be crazy? Oh, but you still amaze me. Wouldn't it be crazy? Oh, but you still amaze me.